Hi everybody, so this is my client and she's back for an infill and I need to do a nail shape correction on her. She's wearing Builder Gel nails. I'm just going to start by taking off all of the old color. I'm not going to take off a lot of product because we are going to add a lot of product later on. You could, of course, take off the nails and just build them again with the nail forms and everything. But yeah, that takes a lot more time. I need to take everything off, so I'm just gonna build it on top and then take it off on the underneath her nails. I'm just gonna do a correction that way. But it still looks pretty what she's got. But as you can see, her nails are really growing downwards, so I need to take off a lot of that just to make sure they are nice and straight again and look pretty. You could keep the shape like that, but her nails will look bulky and eventually you will get pocket lifting, you know, those little areas of lifting in the middle of your nail. That's called pocket lifting, and it can occur due to some factors, but it can also occur if your nails are growing downward and you don't correct the nail shape. You just leave them on like that. So now it's time to get rid of the cuticle tissue. And I'm just using this very small bit and I'm very gently taking off her cuticle tissue. I'm trying not to damage her natural nails. I'm just taking off the cuticle tissue and that's it. And as you can see, she's got hardly any lifting, so that is great. It makes my life a lot easier. But that's also due to the fact that I constantly correct her nail shape. If I wouldn't do that, her nails would start to lift because of the pressure of her nails growing down. And when that's done, I'm just gonna really scrub her nails. Make sure all the oils are gone and all the dirt and whatever that's on there. And once that's done, I'm gonna go in with my rubber base clear. And I'm just gonna go over the entire nail. Yeah, that way I will ensure that the Builder Gel is going to adhere really well to the old product. And of course, this will help adhere the product to her natural nail also. Yeah, these are growing downward, you know, the same as the other hand. Here, I'm trying to show you how much I need to take off. It's quite a bit, which means I need to add a lot of products. So first, I'm just gonna add a very thin slip layer. I don't want it to run into her cuticles or whatever. Next, I'm just gonna grab a bead and I'm just gonna take it over the entire nail. I don't need a lot near the cuticle area, so I'm just gonna move most of the product to the front of her nail, to her free edge. And I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm just pulling it forward, trying not, I don't want the product to run into her skin everywhere. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that on all of her nails, and here you can see how thick it is. You can also see it at her thumb right now. There's a lot of product on her free edge because I'm gonna do the correction and I'm gonna file underneath the nail. Next, I'm gonna get rid of the inhibition layer. I'm trying not to get it all over her skin because it's uncured product. You don't want it onto your skin. And once that's done, it's time to do some basic shaping using my hand file first. And you know, I really have to work for this because it's thick because of all of the product that I've applied, obviously. and her finger is a little bit crooked, so I'm constantly checking that I'm filing straight. Otherwise it would look horrible, of course. And in a minute I will show you a side profile. That way you can see how thick I've made the nail. Yeah, see, there's a lot of product, but I really need to get that nail straight. So I have to remove a lot, starting with the free edge. So I'm filing it right now, not as thin as I can, but I want it straight. It needs to come straight out of the side wall, so I'm filing away a lot of product, but I am leaving a little bit of room to do some filing on top. So I'm thinning it out, but not too thin because I need some room to do some more shaping, but that already looks a lot better, as you can see. Same thing for her thumb, just the basic shaping first. Shortening just a little bit. Yeah, and again, it's pretty hard work right now because of all of the product. I know, that's fine, and I can't do the filing on top first because I have to see how much I'm gonna take off from underneath. So first I have to file underneath the nail before I can file on top. Yeah, so as you can see, again, a lot of product. Yeah, and that's what needs to go. See, otherwise it would just look horrible again. So file underneath, take off all of the excess, and once that's done, I can take my e-file and file on top and make sure it's nice and thin again. And as you can see, there's not a lot of filing left to do because I took away all of the excess product underneath and I kept it nice and thin near the cuticle area. There really isn't that much left to take off other than doing some basic shaping, but there's not a lot of product. And as always, I finish using my hand file just to make it all nice and crisp. And next it's time to get rid of all of that excess product underneath. So that's just one big chunk of builder gel basically. So I'm just going to thin it out. Make sure it's hollow again instead of flat and straight. It feels weird and it looks weird and ugly underneath. So I'm just gonna make sure that's all nice again. And in the process, I am going to take a lot of her natural nail off. Also, yeah, there's no getting around that if you want to do a nail shape correction. But that's fine. She doesn't need it. She doesn't need the extra support, and she doesn't want to keep her natural nails per se, so that's fine. Just get rid of that. And the same thing for her other hand, and you can see it depends on how crooked her nail is, on how much product I need to remove underneath. It's not the same for all fingers. Yeah, but after this, they will be very nice and pretty again. Yeah, so right now you're gonna see me go in with my rubber-based gel clear, but I've made a mistake with the design. So in a few seconds, there's not gonna be any rubber base left on the nail because I took it off again, and I'm gonna use a lovely purple as a base for the glitters to be on top, because I'd like whenever I apply glitters on the entire length of the nail, I'd like to have them like a nice background. So if the glitters aren't covering the entire nail, it's not gonna be that noticeable because I've got this lovely color underneath. And I'm just going to apply one coat. That will be enough because, because of the glitters that are going to be on top. So right now I am going in with my rubber-based gel clear. Because it's just really sticky and a really good base to put your glitters in. And with this first nail, I'm gonna use a brush and just pick up the glitters and put it on top of the nail, but it was pretty time consuming and I had a really hard time to get them everywhere. So with the other nails, I've tried a different approach and just sprinkle it on there. I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place, but whatever, it's fine, it's on, it's pretty, so it's fine. But yeah, that worked a lot better. Just sprinkle it on there. So I'd like to finish the thumb usually entirely before I move on to the other nails, because sometimes people will tend to put their nails onto their clothes while curing or something. I don't know what happens, but if I don't do that, they will end up with a lot of fuzz and other stuff in the inhibition layer, and it's really hard to get out. So I just like to cure the thumb entirely and be done with it. So next I'm gonna go in with this milky white gel polish. I don't know if it was necessary in hindsight to use this milky white polish, but I applied it just to be sure because I'm gonna use some pigments and I really wanted them to stand out, and yeah, but I don't think it was necessary. I'm just gonna cure that halfway to make sure that it's really sticky so the pigment will stick onto it. And next I'm just gonna brush on the pigment, and it's so pretty, such a pretty metallic purple, so nice. And once I've got it on there, I will cure it the full length of the time. Same thing on our other hand. Just apply that lovely purple glitter. It's a very fine shimmer, metallic shimmer. Just really pretty. Normally I would just go on and do the other nails, but I wasn't really sure what I was going to do next, so I've decided to go ahead and apply some top coat. That way I don't have to really be careful not to touch the nail or whatever, so, you know. But yeah, so I've decided I'm going to add some more glitters to the pinkies. And just the same approach, one layer of purple and next rubber base and some lovely purple glitters. So this step was really a waste of time, but you know, I was in it already, so I just went ahead and do it on all of the 4 nails left because I didn't want to get any difference in color or whatever. Yeah, so I just dabbed it on there because I don't want the purple shimmer to go everywhere, but I just could have done this so differently, but you know, that's just a creative process. Sometimes, you know, you figure things out as you go along, but it ended up looking great, so no harm there, just a little bit of extra lost time, but you know, it's always fun with my clients, so that's cool too. To have some extra time, you know. Yeah, so I'm just gonna dab on the metallic purple only in the center. Yeah, and I could have just, you know, applied a base on the entirety of the nail and then just do a gradual fade with this product, but this is fine too, you know. And once that's fully cured, I'm gonna go in with my matte top coat, just a very thin layer, doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it doesn't have to touch all the edges, but just thinly to have a base for my painting. And these are the colors that I'm going to use. Violet rouge, I think like an olive green and titanium white. That one I do know by heart. I'm just gonna apply some small dots of paint on my little palette. It's just the backing of a nail form. I've got some old nail forms that I really do not like to use, So I've decided to use them as palettes for lots of things, painting, glitters, mixing, whatever. So I'm going to use the one stroke technique. Just blend, blend, blend. Kept my brush loaded. I'm sorry, you're going to see more of the painting in a minute. Yeah, so I'm just going to get it on there. Just very gently, and I don't want to use 2 layers. I don't think when I do it that it looks better. So I'm just gonna do 1 layer and it should be good. And it's drying pretty quickly today, so I can add the second layer. And this one turned out to be a little bit bigger than what I've had in mind. So later on you're gonna see that I've took off this flower and redid it just a little bit smaller. I thought that looked like a little bit better with this design. Yeah, but I'm just working in circles, working my way to the center. First the outer layer and then working my way in. And you can add as many layers as you'd like depending on the width and length of the nail, of course, and how big a brush you got and how skilled you are, whatever. And sometimes it just doesn't work and you just have to do whatever your hands decide to paint. I don't know how to describe it any other way. Sometimes you want something but your hand just won't do it. Yeah, so that one's a little bit bigger than the second one, and I decided that I like the second one a little bit better with this design. So again, in with the outer layer, I just have to make sure that your brush is fully loaded with paints, and it can't be dry, so it needs to have a little bit of water in it. Otherwise, it's going to look streaky. When you paint it, it's not going to look smooth or anything. So already working on the inner part of the flower. Just getting those leaves inside those petals. And then the most inner part. Let's make a connection there. And I'm gonna do the same thing on her other hand, but this is, oh yeah, this is the same hand, so I've already took off the bigger flower, and next I'm just gonna get a smaller flower on there. And I do have to say that I really struggled in the beginning to get a hang of this technique. It was really hard to see how it works, how you had to curve the petals to make it look good, which paint I had to use. I've tried a lot of paints. None of them worked, but this brand works really well for me, and I can use just 1 layer as you can see, as I like to use, because sometimes the depth and the shading will disappear when you use 2 coats, so that's why I really do not like to use 2 coats. And right now this is her other hand, and I'm just going to do the same thing, create some lovely flowers. here are her nails. I think they are very pretty. I really like the little roses, and I absolutely love the metallic purple. I haven't applied cuticle oil just yet, so they will look better with the pictures. And nice and straight again. As you can see, she's got some pretty curved nails, so yeah, can't really hide that part. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you've liked this video, and I wish you all a very good day. Goodbye.